Morning here, about 11 o'clock in Les Sables d'Olonne, and this is the big talking point for now. Jean-Luc has made it around Cape Horn last night and immediately took off heading for home at about 8.4 knots was the highest average speed we saw over an hour. So pretty exciting news for Jean-Luc, exciting news for the Golden Globe as well, because we've got our first boat on his way home. It's the last third of the course, and we're all pretty stoked about that. It was the 12th time Jean-Luc has sailed around Cape Horn, which is pretty impressive, and he's way ahead of the game, way faster than we ever thought anyone would get around in the Golden Globe. And he's obviously still hunting a record there. Be happy to get home. He's happy with his rig. We got a photo just this morning from the lighthouse keeper, the Chilean Navy lighthouse keeper, which was pretty cool. And yeah, he's all smiles. So now he's headed clearly up towards Estrecho de la Mer. There's a little stretch, area where he can cut through. This was the last course of the mark as well, coming around Cape Horn, which is right there. Just leave that to port. After that, now Jean-Luc can go wherever he wants, all the way back to the finish line off the river here at Les Sables d'Olonne. So Estrecho de la Mer is a good thing to do if he can get through it. It saves him going right around the side here. But there is huge currents in here, okay? You get up to 5 knot currents, 5, 6 knots at times. So you really want the wind to be in the right direction. Now, right now, it's just forward of the beam. He's in the lee of the land here, so the sea would be very low, you know, maybe 1 metre or something. And this is about 25 knots of breeze, that's okay. And it's cutting across the current, so the sea shouldn't get too bad. But speaking from personal experience, I've seen 2.5 metre vertical waves here, about only a boat length apart, 15 metres apart, when there was wind against tide with 50 knots coming behind me during the BOC. So, and Jean-Luc is well aware of that, but at the moment it all looks pretty good. It's a favourable wind direction. He'll cut through there sometime in the next 5, 6 hours or so, I suppose, and he'll be on his way and breaking out into the South Atlantic. So let's, because he's, Mark Slats is still back here, he's a bit far away. We'll just concentrate on Jean-Luc for now, and let's look at what he's going to get as he heads towards the Falklands. It's going to take him a couple of days to get from where he is now up into this area, and it's reasonably favourable. It's coming from a northwesterly direction, so that's kind of cool. And we'll push it forward 24 hours. By then, hopefully, yeah, by then he's got it more on the beam, so he'll be making a course up in this direction, and it'll be coming right on the beam or just after the beam. That's a nice speed. He's got good fast sailing there, so he'll be happy with that. The sea won't be too bad because it's generally offshore. They don't, oops, that was a bit far there. They don't get a chance to build up too quickly. This is a couple of days out, so it's building. So he'll be going quite fast there. And I'm reasonably confident he'll leave the Falklands to starboard as he goes past. And by then he'll be very close and heading on his way through. So I'll just cut this back. This is day 3. And again, pretty good. He's just missed out on this weather here, and in fact it's always a dramatic change. As soon as you get here, you're in a completely different world. No more long Southern Ocean swells, huge seas. It's just sort of a bit more of wind waves until you get a bit out. But you can see there's this area of general instability here now, and one of the things that's really worrying Jean-Luc is the prospect of having to go to windward or close reaching when the wind is, it's fast sailing, the wind is forward of the beam, maybe 60 degrees, 70 degrees even, but you get like a 2 metre swell and a wind wave that you smash into, a lot of spray over the deck, and that'll pump the mast, and that's not what he wants to do. So he's going to have to think hard about what happens, and generally it's pretty simple. I think he'll hold as close as he can to the rum line around here, but any time he gets knocked with headwinds, he's going to have to go port or starboard. He's going to have to make a decision. But he is getting good weather forecasts, so if that holds all the way through, he'll have a reasonable chance. So now it becomes more, rather than waiting for the next storm, you're waiting for the next wind direction to see what's happening, and it's all pretty unstable up there at the moment. So this is 24th, 5, 6, 7. So this is 3 days out. He'll be in an area about here somewhere. We'll go out another day. There he is there. Oh, look at that, headwinds. So he's not going to be going up here. He's not going to want to go over there. I think you'll see him in this light stuff and possibly having to head out here a little bit. At least it'll be on the beam. But yeah, this is where the fun begins. So Jean-Luc's into a whole new world of normal Atlantic sailing. Now, massive band of headwinds there. So big problem. This is 5 days out. 5 days out, he's going to be in here somewhere. So watch this space. It's probably enough because everything changes so fast in the Atlantic. It's not like the Southern Ocean where you get these depressions and so on. So looking forward 5 days is probably about as accurate as we're going to get. So generally pretty good for Jean-Luc. And he'll be happy to be here. Now here's the next story. He's holding his own against Mark at the moment. You might see the distance get a little bit crazy here, distance off when you're looking at the rankings stage, because there's a turn in the course, and obviously if we did a measurement from Mark direct to Jean-Luc when he's there, it's measuring across there rather than down to the run line and down to the course and up again. So don't worry about that. But at the moment, Mark's doing 6.6 knots, Jean-Luc's doing 4 knots. So he's catching ground, and that'll probably hold true. When Jean-Luc gets up here in the Atlantic, he'll slow down a little bit. I'm expecting Mark to come boring in, but once Mark gets to here, he'll slow down a bit as well. So even though they'll be a closer distance together, they'll be weather systems apart, and it'll make for some very exciting sailing, I think. Oh, this isn't the weather Mark's got at the moment. Here we go. So this is real-time weather now for Mark. I think you can see that pretty clearly. I'll pop it up one more size. That might be a bit big. There he is. Yep, that's not working, so I'll go back one. Okay, so good breezes there. Let's see what he's got for the next few days. This is the next day. It's lightening off a bit, but still fantastic direction. He'll like that. We'll go forward again. This is day 2. Good sailing direction, so he's fine. He'll have everything up here, so he'll still be making 6s and maybe even 7s. There'll be a low sea state here. The sea will die down. Anything from the north, that's good. So that's 2 days out. Here we go, 3 days out. Okay, getting a bit light now. He'll slow down a little bit in this. So, but at least it's all from the right direction, and it's not heavy, so he's not like to break anything. So we'll go through to 28th, and here comes his first bit of a session. So this is 4 days out. 4 days time, he's going to be down around here somewhere. So let's just say hold that there, and we'll push it through another day. Nope, it's popped away, so might be lucky here. Looks like it's dropped south. So it's come along and dropped way south by the look of it. So Mark will be very happy to have these breezes. This will be 35, 40 knots, maybe gusting 45, giving him a big push along. So that's pretty cool. Go through to the 30th. Just waiting for it to change over. Still looking pretty good on the course here. Mark's coming down. That's a good breeze. So there you go, 6 days out. We'll go one more day. One more day. Boom, boom. It's going to have some breeze around the bottom. So generally, Mark's looking pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Good to see him going to make some good time there. So, and I know Mark will be happy with that as well on the hunt for Jean-Luc. So what's happening back here? Not a lot. There's not a lot of breeze there. I'll push it up one more time. This is our middle fleet. Istvan's sailing along the edge. He's still got issues. I won't call them serious issues in terms of the boat safety and things like that, but boy, what a pain. Istvan's got a problem with the bearings. He's pulled his steering gear apart, and it's collapsing badly. He's going to be struggling to keep the bearings going anywhere near back to La Sable d'Olonne. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. His emergency tiller is elongating, where he puts the emergency tiller onto the top of the rudder shaft, coming up through the bottom of the cockpit floor. It's made out of aluminium. The more work it does, the keyway sort of arrangement is getting sloppy, and it could potentially just strip out. So then he can't lock anything onto the tiller there. He may well have to seriously consider using his emergency steering system. I'm not sure yet, but not a happy chap. He's running out of luck on a few issues there, but at least he's away from the no-go zone. We've also assessed, and we'll make a statement on this shortly on Facebook, a claim by Istvan for some time when he was assisting the sailor in the Indian Ocean for water, and we've credited Istvan 6 hours to compensate for time lost when he did that back in the Indian Ocean. So that'll make him a bit happier. We've actually informed him of that, I think, yes, in a message. So so his fan will be happy about that. But not going too much in a hurry right now. 4 knots, a lot better than Susie over here. She's doing 3.5 knots, but not with much prospect of wind happening here for now. And Uku, 3.8 knots. They're all bogged down a bit. Let's see what happens when we go through a day. This is a good day. It disappears pretty quick for most except Igor. So Susie's happy. She's going to catch up with Igor a bit. And sorry, not Igor, Uku a bit. And Istvan's okay there. That's a southerly. He'll be reaching, beam reaching, starboard tack. Uku's in a hole. So we'll go forward another day. What do we got? Okay, Uku's on the hunt, and he's got more breeze than Susie, so he'll pull away from Susie probably. Susie will be up here, but I think Uku's going to get a bit more, so if he's clever, that's it. Istvan, luck's out. He's got light headwinds, he'll be over here at that time, but that should hopefully move away pretty quickly. So we'll go forward another day. Nope, it's going to stay. So Istvan's going to be probably holding port tack with the breeze coming down here. Fine on the bow. Susie will be up here again. She should be out of that. She should be over here somewhere, but it's going to be slow progress. And Uku's got a nice breeze, so they'll be pretty much holding their general relative position. Oh, that's skipping forward a day and a bit there. Istvan, not sure. I don't think he'll be out of this. It's going to be light from the nose, swapping from one side to the other, and hopefully he can keep moving just above the zone. Susie's okay. She'll be down here sailing with a southerly. She'll like that. Uku will be up here. He takes off. So looking pretty good. We'll just pull them forward another day. Then we've got some light headwinds. We've got these centres of the highs here. Down a bit lower than normal. Well, I mean, it happens, but the reality is right now with our no-go zone, they're going to have headwinds. So, but they're not strong, and doesn't look like any storms for a while. So push forward a couple of days. Wow, big system there. Crikeys, that's a big high. So those 2 little highs have joined together into one big one. So slow progress, but they're still making progress, and they should be happy if they start thinking, oops, easy, what's happened here? They should be relatively happy compared to poor old Tapio back here. Tapio's latest message, which we'll get up later today, was another 8 days from now of headwinds. So he's not very happy right now, and he asked the question, is this climate change? Because it is very strange. I mean, Tapio relates it to the square riggers that used to come through from Adelaide back to Finland, full of grain. They would have been going nowhere in this, just exactly the same as Tapio is. So I've probably gone a bit big there. I'll drop it back 1. So you can see here he's taken a track down south, and this is a good move. I mean, Robin and I were sitting in the office looking at it all, saying, boy, if he could see the weather we can see, the smartest thing that he could do now is head south. There's always a lot of wind, and it changes directions to hook underneath the bottom of New Zealand here. It sort of hooks down there, and so whatever you do when you're playing around this area, it's going to be generally headwinds, because you're in this area and you want to go that way, you can't. So by coming down here, this is a good move, because whatever happens, at least he's in the clear. So he might be able to squeak up here to the northeast, and even when it goes easterly, he can at least head north and get out of this zone, which is particularly nasty in terms of wind direction, and maybe have a chance of getting over here. He has to leave the Bounty Islands to port when he goes past. The Bounties are in about here somewhere. So let's look at what's going to happen here with the wind if we go forward. There's a day. Well, it's slow. Okay, so it's easterly. So that's not looking good. That day's no good, but at least he'll have relatively smooth seas. The next day, same again. So it's 2 days. The next day, the same again, although here it's starting to get a little bit of southeast in it. When that happens, if he's able to hold his position, he can start going north on that. He can start going north. That southeast is a lot better than northeast when you're down here and you're trying to get over there. So this is still a better position for him. He might be able to work out something here and actually make some progress on track. Again, it's got a bit of a southeasterly slant to it. By then he could be up here, and he could then start making his way in this direction. So good move by Tapio, but still incredibly frustrating. And there's no changes. This high is just sort of sitting there. Anyway, all we can do is just think of him and think, wow, I would not want to be there. Again, you can see why you don't want to be here. It's a problem. But anyway, we just got to watch what develops. He's happy enough. He's got books, but he's incredibly frustrated. He's got a barnacle bottom, and it's just the weather's just not doing anything right for him right now. In fact, he's doing strange things. Look at this. Bloody great big area of instability and no wind over here, and another one here, and going the wrong way. And you'd have to be, if we put the grids on here, you'd have to be, to get around this, you've got to be down at 55 south. Yeah, right down here, and then you're in the heart of the big wind zone when the storms come through. So I always hesitate when I say strange things happening with weather, but yeah, let's not talk about it. So whoop, that looks like it's an area we don't want to see Mark in soon. So big news for Mark today. We got a message from him saying he had a look at the hull yesterday. There was a shark in the water. He didn't want to go in. He's got barnacles. The hull looks all right, the canoe body of the hull, but the keel and the rudder is covered in barnacles. So and he's getting very low on water. So he's decided he will have to make a stop. We'll have to get water, slip the boat, and also resupply. So that's part of his decision-making process. And he's to decide in the next 24 hours whether he's actually going to go up here into Adelaide, South Australia, that's where he's from, or whether he'll continue on to Hobart. It's a little bit further to go up to Adelaide, obviously, because he's got to come down again. But the big attraction is his hometown. He's got the Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron there. And he brought up the fact there's a bit of a history of, like Chichester, the wool clippers and the grain clippers all went from England and Europe, and they all came to Adelaide here. York's Peninsula here was a big wheat growing area. That's where they all filled up with wheat and wool. And then they left here again non-stop all the way back to England or Europe. So Mark's thinking he might tap into that bit of history and so on. So we'll know tomorrow what he's up to. But for now, he's got light winds. He's not making very fast progress. I'll just push this up a bit again. He's only making 3.3 knots flat seas. And the forecasting for him is, let's see what happens. So we go forward a day. Next day, okay, some breezes coming for Mark. He hasn't had a big blow, really. He's been very lucky. They've been up high, and that makes better weather, but it's slow. So there's probably 45 gusting 50 in that, but he'll, fortunately, it's let's hope it doesn't form up too big, but he'll be able to handle that. He'll just run north with that. So let's go slowly to the next day. Yeah, it moves away very quickly, and that's quite a good breeze for him sailing along, especially if he goes up to Adelaide. So we'll go forward again to the 27th, see what we got. Another light one, but it's all heading up, so that's okay. If he can get across here, no, it's going to be slow. Still going to be slow. Next day, slow again, so he'll be keeping up with this area of no wind here. But at least there's no, yeah, it's all a bit all over the place. But something tells me, knowing Mark, oh, here we go, on the first, he might get a push in the end. So that's a week from now. Well, a week from now, if he goes to Adelaide, I'd be expecting him to be up here somewhere. Let's just pace this out and see what's going to go down here. I'll just give us a distance here. Why is that not doing that? Click to go, ba-dum, ba-dum. We'll go boom. There's one there, one there. Okay, so 7 days. Yeah, if he does even 100 miles a day, 7 days from now he's going to be over here. So this blow might actually give him a bit of a kick in the pants to the end, but it's going to drop down if he's going to Adelaide, so should be fine. Okay, so now back to real-time weather. Igor. Igor is making for Perth. That may, we'll talk to their team. It may be easy to go to Albany, so that's maybe a consideration as well. Albany's just here. It's a common stop-off port for anyone on the way and down. It's easy, and coming up here to Perth and down saves about 600 miles, which could be 4 days of sailing, whatever. But anyway, he's still got quite a way to go yet, and we'll just have a look at his weather here. All looks pretty stable for now. A day ahead, not much wind. Next day, still not much wind, slow progress. A bit of a breeze there, but still only going to make about 3 knots or so. It's going to take him a while. It's all light winds all the way through there. And he's definitely confirmed, I saw some of the radio traffic. He has massive infestation on the hull, and he's because he motored a bit just to try out a few things. Normally when he'd be motoring at 5 knots, he's motoring at less than 3 knots. So the barnacles are costing him 2.5 knots. So very slow progress. So that's really it. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say this morning. Watch this space. I'll be coming on live with questions and answers in a few hours, maybe about 4 hours, and I'll probably do another tutorial. A tutorial on the tracker as well as on the website, because I'm still finding people don't know some of the features, and we still have quite a few people that aren't on Facebook and think they're missing out. But you can follow everything from Facebook on the website. You don't have to be a member of Facebook to follow all the Facebook stuff we have, and all the lives go to YouTube. So I'll probably do a website tutorial and also the lives later this afternoon. Thanks a lot. See you later. Enjoy.